about San Francisco is there's so many little niches and subcultures, and it's still so vibrant, you know. And Burning Man was another thing that we really didn't talk about. Like
Yeah.
it was birthed
Right,
out of
right,
here,
right.
right? You
It-
have, like,
it
the
was,
burners.
yeah.
Kicked
Yeah.
out of here too.
Yeah, but the most visionary people on the planet, you know, like descend on that, you know, on that, you know, on the playa for a week, and it's been an inspiration for me from the beginning, and in many ways I've been building that bridge, right, and trying to create that magic that you would experience on the playa for 1 week, but like every day, right, and just like, you know, people want experiences. It's like during COVID, all the things we took for granted were taken away. Right, like you can't go to the movie, you can't go dancing, you can't hang out with your friends, you can't do this, you can't even, you know, it's like you had to wear. I mean, it's like all that stuff we took for granted, and now people really want that, and so that's what I believe is like all those things that were taken away from us. Now people can appreciate it. The simple things, you know, that we took for granted are way more valuable.
Just a couple more questions. One's for you, Matt. It has to do with because I read that article you were talking about. You know, housing, young people. How do you know, cost of housing, cost of infrastructure, what needs to happen to get more younger people to move back here? I mean, that was kind of bleak, that article. It wasn't.
Yeah, the article essentially said that San Francisco has lost more people in their 20s than any other city over the last few years,
was pretty
and as a higher proportion of other folks we've lost, and some of them have left because of the cost of living, but the other bleak part of the article was that some people left not because of the cost of living. It
said the value wasn't there to pay
yeah,
more.
the value
wasn't
wasn't there for
Right.
what they were getting. And I think, you know, Paul said this, is that people for many years were willing to pay more here because what they were getting was San Francisco, and San Francisco was one of a kind. It was so special, and they were willing to pay more for it if it meant that they could have the experiences here in the community that was here. And so that balance has been lost for many people, and that as the nightlife struggled, as the other young people who weren't in the tech sector, you know, the artists, the folks who worked in other industries weren't able to live here, it really had, I think, a cascading effect. So now we're trying to rebuild that. I mean, I do think some things are happening. I mean, you know, rent is stabilized or even down right now. And you can, I mean, I'm talking to people who, you know, maybe they're graduating from San Francisco State or UC Berkeley or all that, where 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it probably wouldn't have been in the cards to live in San Francisco, but it is again now. And they can afford it with a roommate. A lot of it is because our downtown and Soma and the Tenderloin in this area has really hollowed out of a lot of the people who were here because of the high paid jobs in tech. Right. They're gone. So now you have all these places where people can live, and the rents have gone down. So we're going to be able to bring a whole new community of people here. And I think that's going to create more folks who want to come, and we're going to be able to build a lot back in terms of the artistic and nightlife scene. So I do see that trend happening. We have to move faster on it. And, you know, I'm working a lot on trying to take some of these buildings that now are empty or not, you know, being used for anything productive, and saying let's find a way to make it easier for people to live here, you know, or to do other artistic things. If you can't turn it to housing, you know, how about rehearsal studios? How about an art space?
I really need
a
building.
Help
me out.
On the Warfield, this is what just happened at the Warfield block, where they were going to convert that building on the corner of 6th and Market to housing, and the owner of the building said, well, actually, this is not really going to make sense. It's an old historic building. So they're turning it into a bunch of art space. And
I'm gonna wave my hand and talk to you later, but we need a rehearsal studio to condense like 4 buildings into one that has some longevity, because we're getting ripped off. I don't want to put the pin in the bear, but what about what's going on with, I'm hearing about people having to go back to work down here. Do you think that would help anything?
I do think it helps some.
I mean, with people wanting to live here again, if they can't live from home anymore,
Absolutely.
and they have to come to work, right?
No, 100%.
I mean, I know,
we do
and I'm
need,
trying not to poke the bear, but I mean, that possibly could help things a little bit, right? If that, you got to have this mass of people come back to work here.
I'm going to say 100%.
Yeah.
No, we want everybody to come back to work, because
Right.
the fact that people were working remote created this downward spiral, right? Because
Right.
it's like all of the foot traffic that used to be, right on Second Street. Thankfully, people are coming back, but for a couple of years, it was a ghost town. And what happened is it created this chain reaction. It's like if you don't have foot traffic, then the coffee shop closes, then the barber shop closes, then the little boutique closes, right? So.
Right,
100%. Bringing people back will have a great impact. It's one of the things that is going to help, right?
Yeah, and that was a huge part of, like you said, the rug got pulled out from under. I mean, that the entire city was built around, at the very least, as a foundation. We had a lot of people coming to work here. Mm-hmm. Those folks then went out to dinner afterwards. Yeah. They went out to coffee. They went out to lunch. And then all of that supported the whole ecosystem, including nightlife. And when that was gone, it just blew out everything. And so we're starting to see some of that come back in various ways, and some of that's people coming back to work, and some of that's more people moving downtown, I think.
Cool. I had a question for Mark. Integration in entertainment. We have the Castro. We have, all these different things, right? What about more integration, like back to like the 54 days? I mean, it's pretty segregated, gay and straight and stuff like that. Do you see that happening?
At Club 9, we had a gay night, and people were all up in arms about it. But
I mean, but now, the Castro is pretty much what it is, and do you see like clubs integrating more, or do you think it's going to stay just gendered out the way it is?
No, I think what's going to happen is San Francisco is going to get back to its roots, and it was like the most tolerant place on earth. What blew my mind, I'd go to these parties out on Fillmore Street in the early 70s, and it was the coolest people in the world, but it was like a third black, it was a third European, and a third, artist from the Art Institute or something. But it was a trip, when you meet people like that, and that was why people like San Francisco.
And I think Paul saw it just like I did. I opened my first club in 2006. That 7 back then, it was completely integrated. Mm-hmm. You had foreigners, you had transgender, gay people, you had everything just mixed in a big pot like Studio 54 was. Mm-hmm. And now I'm seeing that it's all segregated now, and I'm just wondering, do we think that could be mixed back up? I think it could with
we have a huge mix of people. We
okay.
have a really diverse. You come to Temple on. It's just every demographic is represented in.
Yeah,
in
no, I'm just.
Sure,
it's just a question.
Yeah. But I think there's an interesting point Mark made there, which is one of the things that has changed in San Francisco that has made this harder is the black population here has really been pushed out, and it's hard to have.
And the artists,
it's hard to have culture
a lot of artists have
and
been
music
pushed out.
and arts without black culture in our country. And so that's something that San Francisco is a huge competitive disadvantage in terms of being cool and being relevant. Mm-hmm. And I think that one of the things that we need to do is we do need to put some investment to bring some of that back. Fillmore, there's still a bunch of venues on Fillmore that are just shuttered. There's still the possibility to support black culture and black entrepreneurs here and bring some of it back. There's a venue that is opening that Draymond Green is opening a new restaurant and lounge. These are things that we need to be embracing because even if you don't have a lot of black culture and people in San Francisco anymore, if they come into the city, that was actually something that was really special about NBA All-Star that I think like you had a set of diversity that San Francisco itself doesn't really have, that I think helps to kind of bring everyone together and bring an element of cool and being at the forefront of whatever it is, if it's fashion, if it's art, if it's music. A lot of that still is black culture connected to it, and without it we're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I know the history, the Fillmore history and all that. I've read all about it. It was massive. Same thing with other influxes into San Francisco, even with like the rock bands, all of your blues bands when they came, all the different clubs. I have all the club names here. So many that are gone now. But I think that's super important. But then all I was saying with this question is I think a lot of the artists were pushed out. I think a lot of people in general, I don't know the numbers, you know the numbers more, but I know from the band aspect of things, I lost a third or more of my bands during COVID with not reopening and stuff, which were all musicians that used to play around, and DJs, musicians, everybody. And I housed them all. I shut down one of the buildings and stuff like that. But yeah, getting them all back.
Yeah, we
is-
lost
is the
venues
thing.
too.
Yeah, we lost a ton of
Yeah,
venues.
Slam's
I mean, a ton of
independent.
restaurants, venues, everything.
Or not independent. What is it? A mezzanine.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's close out. And you want to close? Give me a closing statement, Mark. Yeah.
I think
10
San
minutes?
Francisco,
We're almost done.
if you look at the state, I think it's the city flag. They got the Phoenix. San Francisco's burned down, gone crazy, changed around. It's the most beautiful city on the planet, and I see it out there. I'm telling everybody, what I'm dealing with, I'm so busy right now, and you know what it is? It's the people with the people who have money, and they know when the time to come.
I know. I
They're
can't even
looking for
talk to you,
deals,
Mark.
huh?
I can't even talk to you anymore. You're so busy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, but something's happening
Yeah.
again, and I don't know what it is, but I think city policies. You shouldn't have to hire me that knows everybody to get permits. I mean, it used to be San Francisco thought their shite didn't stink. You know, that was a big problem. They had a chip on their shoulder, and then everybody said, okay, bye. You know, and now what are you going to do? Okay.
But you are seeing a huge influx of people coming in to start entertainment places, right? You're an entertainment attorney.
Well, yeah,
Are you
little-
seeing a lot of new places open, or is it still just
No,
picking?
and it's people started. They're dipping their toes in, but they're looking.
Okay.
You know?
All right.
It's like what Paul's doing with that Greyhound station. People,
Well, he's all the way in.
That's more than a toe right there.
I mean, San Francisco's back, baby. I mean,
Okay.
you
I
know,
think
we're
it's-
back. I'm bullish. We're
Yeah.
doubling down. I mean, I'm excited. This is
All
like,
right.
you know, we're here.
we
You
just
know?
Okay.
got to get
Yeah.
everybody on board because, hey, you know, everybody. If we got the crowd back, we got the Europeans back, we've got the parties back. Guess what? This is a much more interesting city to live in, and it's a lot more fun.
Anything to close?
I agree. Something's happening out there. We're on the upswing, and I think we just have to take full advantage of it and not fuck this up. I can swear on this, right?
Yeah, I don't care. Just so you guys know, this is the first one. We're probably going to do 6 to 8 of them. And, you know, we'll put them all up so everybody can hear what everybody else says about different things. And then we'll see what happens from it. See what I'm just intrigued by all of the different point of views and intrigued by, I mean, like, what we just heard from Paul. That's massive. All of your guys' views were very important and very valid, and I really appreciate them. You guys listen to the other people when it comes out. Hopefully they listen to you, because I think some stuff that was said here today was really important. But it's going to keep going. So, you know, once every 2 weeks, there'll be a new one. And I say 6. I think I got enough people to cover everything with that. So there's some other topics that are going to come up and stuff. But I really appreciate your guys' time. I really thank you so much. Thank you guys very much.
That was
All right,
fun.
thank you. Yeah, thanks for doing it, Rick.
Right on.
Appreciate it.
You know, we were streaming. Yeah, cut.